Hey guys! Here we go. We're going to continue with Lila and Hadley again this week. We are on chapter 10. Chapter 10? Yes, chapter 10. Chapter 10. Chapter 10 may be kind of short. No, we'll see. Alright, so chapter 10. We are going to continue reading. Remember, we got Lila and we got Hadley living with Beth, and they're both kind of progressing and learning in her mobility lessons for Hadley and Lila's training. So, chapter 10, let's continue to read and see what's going on with them. Beth may have been real proud of me for getting to finally bring my cane home, but it ain't long before I want to throw the dang thing away and never look at it again. Ow! I cry at the top of my cane's rubber grip slams onto my stomach. It's like a tiny but strong fist going for my gut. The tip got caught in a crack on the sidewalk, and I wasn't able to stop moving fast enough to avoid the impact. Crud, I growl, teeth gritting, as I take a step back and shake out my wrist, still holding the cane. Celia has scheduled a lesson for me on a Thursday afternoon. It's just the two of us, no Addie and Sid, and that's about the only thing I can be happy about, because at least they ain't here to embarrass me by making everything look easier than it is. This ain't the first time I've jabbed myself in the stomach with the stupid cane. In the last hour walking up and down the main street outside the community center, I've probably done it 10 times. And based on how tender the area is starting to feel, I can guess that I'll have a ring of bruises right around my belly button later. You okay? Celia asks, stepping up beside me. She's been spending most of the lesson walking a couple paces behind, calling out directions or advice when she needs to. Now that I know the different cane techniques, sweeping and tapping and whatnot, she wants me to get practice outside in an environment that she says ain't so predictable. I think maybe she just wants to torture me. No, I snap with my free hand. I clutch my stomach. All right, maybe I'm being just a little bit dramatic, but it does hurt a lot. With a bit of practice, you'll get used to it, she says. Used to impaling myself? No, Celia laughs. But I wasn't being funny. You'll get used to using the cane. The different techniques, you'll build up your reflexes so you're able to pick up the tip before you walk into the top bit. Or shift your wrist so it doesn't hit you. This sort of thing. My students who have been using canes for years all went through this when they first started, and none of them have had this problem anymore. Like anything, it just takes time. She makes me start walking around again, and this time turning down another street while we pass some local businesses. She walks next to me for a pace or two, reminding me that the arc of my sweep should go just a bit past my shoulders on each side. Then she falls back again and I walk on, trying to focus on what I'm doing. I keep the swish of my cane in step with my feet. When I step forward with my right foot and my cane sweeps out to the left, so that I'm always aware of what's just a step ahead. I try not to walk too fast. Maybe if I'm slower, I won't slam into my cane next time it gets snagged. But it ain't long before focusing that hard gets boring, and my mind starts to wander, away from this lesson and back to Beth's house, where Lila's probably waiting for me at the door. That's what she does when I'm at these lessons, according to Miss McGraw. It's the only time I'm away from the house, really, and every time I get back, I find her in the living room, curled up near the door, staring. Like she's waiting for me. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel kind of nice, knowing she likes me that much. Especially since, truth be told, when I'm away from the house, I miss her too. Her training's been going pretty well. She still won't really do things Beth tells her to do, but she ain't so shy anymore either. Beth even wants to bring Vanessa over for dinner soon to show her how much progress Lila's made. When she mentioned that, she got all nervous and giggly. I ain't sure exactly what's going on between the two of them right now, but I think maybe Vanessa figured out my sister likes her. Or maybe Beth finally told her. Either way, Miss McGraw came over 2 nights ago to babysit me, even though I told her and Beth both again that I don't need babysitting, because Beth had somewhere to go. She left in a dress and with her hair all curled. "How do I look?" she asked me. I shrugged and didn't take my eyes off the TV. One of those bad reality shows about renovating houses was on. Miss McGraw watched them a whole lot, and even though I'd never tell anybody, I had started to kind of like them. I had even come out of my room and sat on the couch to watch them with her when one of my favorites was on. "What do I know?" I said. "I'm blind." She swatted at my arm. "Ha ha ha ha," she said. "All right. Well, you and Lila be good for Miss McGraw, please. She just called to say she'll be here in over at about 10 minutes. She's finished something up at her house." I snorted. The show I was watching would also be over in 10 minutes, which meant I was pretty dang sure what Miss McGraw was doing was busy with at her house. When she got here, I'd have to ask her what she thought of the color they'd painted the bathroom. The grape purple color seemed awful tacky to me, honestly. I looked at Beth. "Where are you going?" I asked. "On a date with Vanessa?" I'd expected her to say no, or get annoyed with me for teasing, but instead she just ruffled my hair and made her way to the front door. "You'll probably be asleep by the time I get home, so I'll see you in the morning." I took that as a yes. Anyway, I ain't sure when Vanessa will be coming over to check on Lila, but I know there's a lot I still gotta do with her training, like getting her better on the leash, and we ain't done a ton of work on that yet. I make a mental note to watch some videos on leash training tonight, and maybe then start working on that tomorrow. I wonder if it'll be tricky, holding her leash on one hand and the cane in the other, trying not to... Ugh. The tip of the cane gets caught in a crack again, and before I can do anything about it, I'll run smack into the hard rubber grip, adding another bruise to the constellation forming on my belly. Heat rushes into my cheeks and my fists begin to clench. For a second, I ain't sure if I'm gonna cry or scream. All I know is, now I'm mad. The rage hits like a tornado touching down in the spring. All the conditions are right, but that still don't give me a whole lot of warning. I squeeze the grip of my cane before pulling my arm back and hurling it with all my strength down the sidewalk away from me. "Hadley!" Celia yells at me, just as I hear the cane clatter to the concrete. I can't see where it landed, but I don't think it's real far away. Apparently all my strength ain't that much. And just like a tornado, it's over as quick as it got here. There's still a storm, still a raging, rolling thunder in my chest, but the worst part, the spiraling whirlwind of frustration has passed. I flop down, sitting on the curb, as Celia's shoe thwacks past me. I hear the snap, snap of the cane collapsing, folding up into its smaller size. Then she's sitting on the curb next to me, but I do not look at her. "Listen," Celia says. Her voice is quiet but firm. "I know this is hard, but..." "No, you don't," I interrupt because I can't help myself. "You don't know anything. You ain't blind and never have been, so what do you know about how hard this is?" Celia doesn't answer for a minute, then she sighs. "That's a fair point. Okay, I don't know exactly how hard it is to lose my vision the way you are, but I do know, and this is going to sound harsh, but I need you to hear me. Hadley, whether you want to acknowledge it or not, your vision is getting worse. As hard as it is right now, it's going to get harder, especially if you aren't prepared. But this," she slips the folded cane onto my lap, "this part does get easier. And it won't make everything easier, I know, but it will help you as your sight gets worse. All this mobility stuff is going to be really important, and it's tough now, but it gets better, and you just have to give it time." It ain't fair," I tell her. I lean forward, resting my forehead against my knees, so I ain't gotta look at anything as I whine, because even I know that's exactly what I'm doing. whining. I'm tired and irritated and, truth be told, ashamed, both because of my outbursts and because I'm struggling so much with everything, with something even little kids can do. I didn't ask for none of this, for this stupid eye condition, or to have to move to this stupid town because my stupid mama had to go, and I trail off. I hadn't meant to bring up Mama. It's the first time I've so much as mentioned her in weeks, and now there are hot and angry tears in my eyes. I don't look up. I ain't sure how much Celia knows about Mama, how much Beth would have told her when she got me these lessons, but my mobility teacher don't ask any questions. Instead, she just rests a hand on my shoulder. I know, she says. I know it's not fair and no one can make it fair, but you've got people here who want to help. You just have to let us. She stands up after a second and I hear her dusting off her pants. I rub my wet eyes on my forearm before looking up at her again. Come on, Hadley, she says. I think our lesson is done for the day. We'll give this a try again next week, if that's all right with you. I take a deep breath before getting to my feet. I snap the cane back together and touch the tip to the sidewalk, holding my hand in the correct posture again. Then I look up at Celia, who's watching me, waiting. Slowly, I nod. Then I start walking past her, back towards the community center, my cane sweeping in time with my steps. That's the end of chapter 10. Next week we will do chapter 11. As you can see, Hadley's kind of struggling. I'm sure that we can all kind of relate to the struggle of something new right now. But she is persistent and she is not giving up and she has plans to continue to progress in the future, which is just all you can hope for, continuing to try. I hope you have a great week. I hope you enjoyed chapter 10 and I will see you next week. I miss you all and I'll see you next time. Bye.